All right, so let's start with defining what a product is.
Yeah, so basically a product is an object or system made available for consumer use. It might be anything that can be offered to a market to satisfy the desires or needs of a customer. For example, a bottle of beer is a product, or mobile phone is a product, and even a piece of software is considered a product.
So what you're saying here is that depending on the company's goals, basically anything can be a product, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so let's dive a bit deeper into digital product development and product release.
Okay, there are several methods used, but one of the best known is Agile. Agile is a practice that promotes continuous iteration of development and testing throughout the software's development lifecycle. Let's take an example to illustrate this. For instance, let's say we have a task to create a mobile application which lists the available chargers for electric cars in a particular country. In our case, first iteration would be a basic map application with pins and minimal data shown about the chargers. And then we will take the following steps. So step 1 would be detailing the requirements. Step 2 would be prioritizing the backlog and creating the sprints out of the stories that we've created. Step 3 would be the actual design and development of the application. Step 4 would be testing said application, which is a very important step. Step 5 is to then evaluate the application, and step 6 is releasing it to the customer. We have another step, which is step 7, which would be repeating this whole step 1 through 6 again. Let's say the second iteration of this application is a more detailed pin on that map, which would show available charging spaces and occupied chargers. This iteration would have the same steps 1 through 7 again, and this is how an iteration is developed.
So a lot of new terminology here, backlog and sprints. I'm sure that our audience is curious, what do these mean? But let's focus now a bit more on the methodology of Scrum.
Yeah, so Scrum is an agile development method which concentrates specifically on how to manage tasks within a team-based development environment. It is derived from an activity that occurs during a rugby match in which the two sets of forwards mass together around the ball and with their heads down struggle to gain possession of a said ball. Scrum believes in empowering the development team and advocates working in small teams like 7 through 9 members. This rugby analogy actually suits this type of method perfectly, as the purpose of a rugby scrum is to bring order to the chaos that a live ball causes on the field when no team has possession of it yet, while the purpose of a scrum development is to bring order to the chaos of a development project. It consists of 3 roles. So first one would be Scrum Master, who is responsible for setting up the team, setting up the sprint meetings, and removing obstacles in order to progress with the development. Second would be the Scrum team, who manages its own work and organizes the work to complete the sprint or the cycle. And finally, we have the product owner, about who we will discuss about more in depth going on the next couple of minutes.
Right, so as you said, to have a good Scrum team, we have to have multiple roles, but the focus is on the product owner. So let's discuss a bit about the roles a product owner can have.
Yeah, so basically product owners are at the center of every development cycle, and their role can vary depending on the environment. They typically have several key roles and responsibilities, about which we will discuss later on, all the way from business strategist to market analyst to client liaison. At the most basic level, product owners are the leaders responsible for maximizing the value of the products created by the development team. These products can be valuable for internal users, like a CRM system, or external ones, like a website. In our example with the electric car charger application, it is valuable for the external users. What is value in this case, you might ask? It is actually defined as the benefit that a given product or individual functionality brings to the organization, represented in monetary terms.
Join us in our next episode where we will discuss more on the responsibilities of a product owner. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn.